Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi, I am Monique, aka Monique the Money Coach, and I am so excited to be here with you today. I am really excited about the topic that we're going to go over today. It is a topic that is extremely important to me, and it's something that I feel like everybody needs to know, so I want to share it with everybody. All right, so I have Instagram over here, I have YouTube over here, and I have my notes here so that I don't forget any of the steps. So I make sure to cover everything for y'all because this is really important information. So what are we going over today? We are going over how to become work optional. Becoming work optional, and this is a how-to guide. This is not just ideas. This is not just, oh, this is something that we should do. No, this is something that we should do, and I'm going to give you steps on how to achieve it. Sounds good? Let's go. First, I want to give you a little bit of background about myself and how I came to understand becoming work optional. So years ago, my husband and I, we were, typical American family, overspending every month, had credit card debt, amongst other debts. We had student loans, we had auto loans. This is just what we were doing. This was just our lives. And it was okay because we were not, drowning. We didn't feel like we were underwater. We didn't, we had decent credit. We were making our monthly payments, no problem, but we were not saving. And we didn't have any room to grow. There was no growth happening. And so also what was a turning point for me in particular is after we had kids. So after we had kids, yes, the budget got a little bit tighter, the money got a little bit tighter, but again, it didn't feel like anything super overwhelming. What did feel overwhelming was not being fully available to my kid, my oldest, as soon as she started going to school. When they go to school and they have all of those super fun activities like recognitions and awards and breakfast with mom, breakfast with dad, all of those amazing, wonderful family building activities that usually happen on a Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock when we're supposed to be at work, right? So all of those things I was missing out on, and I became extremely frustrated because I felt like I had a duty to my family to provide good income, but I also needed to be there physically for them, especially my kids. So one extremely frustrated morning, I searched the internet, and what I ended up searching was how to make money doing nothing, pretty much, because it wasn't necessarily the money that I was looking for, but it was what the money provided, and it was the time flexibility to be able to attend those things when really I needed to be working. So after doing lots of research, I came across the term FIRE, Financial Independent Retire Early. Now, this is not exactly what this talk is going to be about, but it's something that opened the door for me and opened my mind to understand that it is possible to achieve all of the things that I wanted to achieve for myself, for my family, to provide that financial stability, but also be there physically present for them. So financial independence, financial freedom, retire early, those were all the things that I was hearing about. And then later on, I kind of understood it as becoming work optional. So this means that you have options. You have options with your time. You can continue to work full time. That's definitely an option. You can cut back to part-time working. That's an option. You can change careers. That's an option. You cannot work. That's an option. What this how-to guide is going to show you is how to open up those options for you in the way that works best for you. It's just going to give you the opportunity to open up those options. Are you ready? Let's get started. All right, so first step is to calculate your expenses. We have to know how much money we need to replace if we're not going to be working. We need to know how much our life costs. We need to know how much money we need in order to become work optional. So you're going to calculate your monthly expenses. How do you do that? Something that I am a huge proponent of is tracking. Track your monthly expenses. Don't guess, don't estimate, don't do any of that. What you want to do is you want to go through 1 month of expenses, at least. I would say 3 months, 6 months, a year, however far you want to go back. Calculate everything. Look at every single transaction in your credit card statement. Look at every single transaction on your bank statement. Look at every single transaction everywhere, income and expenses, and you write that down. You write down everything that you have spent for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and you take an average to come up with how much your life costs in 1 month. So that's step 1. Figure out how much your life costs for 1 month. Step 2, you're going to multiply this by 12 so that you find your annual amount of how much your life costs. So you take your 1 month, multiply it by 12 to figure out how much your life costs annually. So this is how much money you need to bring in annually. This is how much income you need to replace from your job annually. Next, we multiply that number by 25. And we do this to get an overall number of how big our pot needs to be before we can say, peace out, I'm done. I have options. I'm going to do what I want to do. So you multiply your annual amount needed by 12. So for example, if after all of your calculations, you discover that annually your life costs you $50,000, you're going to multiply that by 12. And your pot needed would be $1.25 million. Once you get $1.25 million, you got options. You do what you want. You have a lot of options. Even before it gets to that number, you still have options. But once it gets there, oh, you got the ultimate options. So if your life costs $65,000 a year, multiply that by 25 and you get $1,625,000. Keeping up with those numbers, if you discover that your life costs $85,000 a month, well, then you would need a little over $2,125,000. That's how big your pot needs to be in order for you to have the ultimate option of saying, I don't want to work anymore. If you don't bring in another dime, then your life can continue to be paid for. Your current lifestyle at $85,000 a year can be maintained at an overall pot of $2.15 million. All right, so how do we get there? If after doing all of these calculations, if after realizing that your pot needs to be for $65,000 a year, your pot needs to be $1.25 million, how do we get there? That's a lot of freaking money. That's that's a lot of money. $1,625,000. Yes, it is. How do we get there? This is how. Step 4. We're going to invest our money to reach that number. I'm not talking about day trading. I'm not talking about whatever else there is, options, all of that. I personally am not talking about that. Others are talking about that, and maybe it works for others. I, today, am not talking about that. I am talking about long-term buy and hold investing. Now, there are different ways to invest long-term buy and hold. So between your company sponsored retirement account, which could be a 401k, which could be a 403b, between retirement accounts that you set up yourself, which could be a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA or a regular brokerage account, these are ways that we are going to invest to reach our big pot of money that we can then say, again, peace out, I'm done. I got options. All right, so that was step number 4. Step number 5, we are going to wait. We are going to be consistent and we're going to be patient. So we're going to invest money every single month until we reach our big pot of money. And we are going to let time do the heavy lifting for us. And we're going to let our monthly contributions do the heavy lifting for us. So, for example, if you want to reach $1 million in 35 years, you contribute $340 a month to your investments. 35 years, your investment should grow to reach $1 million. If you want to reach that number in 25 years, you got to invest a little bit more, $890 a month for 25 years to reach your $1 million. So this is not something that's an overnight get rich quick